Welcome back. Now, my next guest is recognised and loved across the world for her iconic role as Special Agent Scully in The X-Files. But after a 10-year break from crime fighting, not that she's been doing a million other things in that time, but from crime fighting, Gillian Anderson is returning to her roots, taking to the mean streets of Belfast in new thriller, The Fall.
Things are different here.
What? Oh, that my Jesus is better than your Jesus stuff.
Policing is political here, Stella.
And it isn't at the Met?
The victim's ex-father-in-law is a unionist MP.
Morgan Monroe, unionist MP, ex-lawyer, chair of the Independent Policing Executive. I haven't walked in here totally unprepared.
Good. We have nothing, Stella. The killer is out there somewhere, and we have nothing at all.
So the killer is out there rather than the truth is out there this time. And Gillian joins me now. And that was you as DCI Stella Gibson. So what's going on there? Tell us about that.
Detective Superintendent Gibson has been sent up from the Met up to Belfast to do a 28-day review on a murder case that may or may not involve a politician's son, so it's a bit complicated. And it's quite a common thing at 28 days when a case is at a standstill to have somebody from the outside, not necessarily that far outside, but somebody from the outside come in and kind of reassess things and look at what might have been missed. And so that's what she's come in to do.
And the twist in this is that we know who the killer is right from the start.
Yes, it's Jamie Dornan.
Yeah. And so that's an interesting way of doing it, because we've seen, well, Broadchurch, I suppose, being the example of where right until the last second you didn't know. So it's kind of flipping that on its head, isn't it?
Well, we see Spectre, played by Jamie Dornan, as a serial killer. It turns out that she's investigating a serial killer. And we see Spectre go about his business killing women throughout the series as they're trying to track him down, as they're trying to figure out who this person is. And people keep asking me, well, then where's the tension if you know who the killer is? But the fact is, you know, he's right under our noses. We have no idea, and therein lies the tension. So I think it works.
Brilliant. Well, it sounds very exciting. I mean, for you to do crime again, had you consciously, since X-Files, thought, I nearly said X-Factor again, I've been saying X-Factor all morning and driving Gillian mad, that since the X-Files...
I cannot sing to save my life.
Did you consciously think, I want to do everything else other than that kind of thing, that sort of investigation and all? Not
necessarily. I mean, in between, I've played MI5, I've played MI7, and so I've kind of done, you know, I've done law enforcement before, in between. It's more about this, it's more, she's very different than Scully. You know, Scully was quite square, and Gibson is not. And she feels, you know, obviously, it's such a stupid thing to say. I keep wanting to say she feels more mature. Well, obviously, because I'm, you know, 10, 15, 20 years older, but she definitely feels more like a woman, whereas when I think of Scully, I think of somebody in their late 20s, which, of course, I was when I was...
You don't look that much older. What are you doing? What are you doing to yourself to stop time? Is this something to do with aliens? Is that what's going on?
No, I'm mummified.
Oh, you're mummified.
I'm mummified, yes.
And it's written by Prime Suspect writer as well, which is a great stamp to have, isn't it?
Yeah, very much. I mean, it's very clear. I didn't know that when I first picked up the script for the first time, but it was such a good, complex script that you know, it was very obvious that it was coming from that kind of background. But he's just a brilliant writer, and there was kind of no saying no to it.
So you've got this coming out, and you just heard yesterday you've got another exciting project in America. Tell me about that.
Well, there's a couple. I've been
two?
doing. Yes,
okay.
It's a bit weird all of a sudden. I've done a few episodes of Hannibal, which is airing and about to start airing here. But then I did a pilot. For NBC in the States, and just found out yesterday that it was picked up, and it hasn't actually hit me yet. I don't know what that means to me and my life and everything. So I'm a little bit stunned, but yes.
Which is extraordinary because we've seen you do so many things over here, including some brilliant costume dramas and all sorts of different sorts of roles and roles on the stage as well. But in America, they're talking about Hannibal, and this is a kind of a big comeback for you since X-Files. Do you think that's because it had such a huge impact, that show?
I think in part, but also, you know, when the BBC stuff that I've done over here, BBC and Channel 4 stuff airs over there, it airs on PBS, which is a public broadcasting station, and doesn't necessarily, until Downton Abbey, have the kind of numbers of viewers that the network shows do. So I think people have a tendency to forget or not really count that. And so I think what they might have said was that it might be my comeback to American television in terms of an American series. But yes, it does sound a bit silly.
So life looks like it's going to get even busier right now, because you've already got 3 youngsters.
Well, 2 youngsters and 1 18-year-old.
Oh, right, OK.
Yes, I haven't quite figured it out yet.
It's a lot of juggling to do.
It is a lot of juggling.
And do you still do a lot of yoga and meditation to try and keep everything in balance? I'm just trying to get
Sounds like I'm not going to have time for
I'm just trying to get tips.
Sounds like there's going to be no time at all.
Maybe on the plane.
Yes. No, that is the good thing about yoga, is you can kind of do it anywhere. No matter how small your hotel room in, you know, on the other side of the world, you can do yoga.
Yeah. And I also was reading that you say you try to avoid looking at screens too often, which I think is very interesting, that being away from that, because it's very hard not to these days, isn't it?
It's so hard not to, and I never said that I succeed, but I do try. You know, at a certain point in the afternoon, the phone goes away. You know, they'll pick up the boys from school, and from 3:30 on until they go to bed.
Yeah, try not to do that. Apart from TV screens, of course, which we've got to watch with the fall. Gillian, it's brilliant to chat to you. Yeah. You can't discourage us from doing that.
No, you can't. No, but Monday, right? Okay. It's starting here on Monday.
You're not going, are you? Because you want to stay and chat through, or we're going to talk about from emails and some viewer responses.
Yes, no, I can't. Yeah. But thank you so much for having me.
OK, lovely. Competition time now, and today is your last chance to get your hands on £31,000. Here's Anna Williamson.
The weekend is almost here, which means it's time for me to remind you that today is the last day to see all the entry details of this week's fantastic competition, where you could be winning £31,000.
That's a cheque for the equivalent of £1,000 for every day of May. And what's better, you can spend it on whatever you like.
Perhaps you're saving up for a deposit or moving house.
Maybe you'd like to book that holiday of a lifetime.
Or you could sort out your finances and clear some bills. So if you'd like to be in with a chance of pocketing a May payday of £31,000, all you have to do is answer the following question correctly. And don't forget, this is the final day to see these details.
A well-known Shakespeare play is called Romeo and who? A. Jemima, B. Jessica, C. Juliet. Call 090 41 61 9000. Calls cost no more than £1.54 from BT landlines. Other networks may be higher and mobiles considerably more. Text your answer A, B or C to 65430. Text costs £1.50 plus 1 standard network rate message. You can also enter for free at itv.com. Entrants must be 18 or over. Entries made after lines close at midday today will not be counted but may still be charged. Good luck!
Good luck with that. Now, thanks for all your messages this morning. We were asking you which old TV characters you'd like to see make a return. Max is back with us. Max, what have people been saying?
OK, we've had loads. Pam from Berkshire says a return of the Fonz, Happy Days.
Oh, that's true. But my daughter asked me, well, who's the Fonz? And I thought that is a cultural hole in your life. You need to know who the Fonz is.
So she's educated.
Yes, she needs to be educated. Steve says, what about Coronation Street's Hilda Ogden right now? We need that character back.
Yeah, that'd be good. Lad85 on our Twitter at ITV Lorraine says, I would love to see the return of all the cast of Friends.
Yeah, they keep talking about that, don't they? We want them back for a special one-off, I think. Dorian Green with Birds of a Feather.